Right now, somewhere, a research analyst is being paid $200 an hour to build a report that you're about to learn how to build for free in about 15 minutes, using a tool most people only use to ask random trivia questions. I'm going to show you the exact process, not a surface-level type a question and copy the answer trick, a real workflow, the kind consultants and investors quietly use for pulling a full picture of any industry, market size, who's winning, who's losing, what's actually changing, and what's just noise. Here's why this works, and it's not because the AI is smart. It's because of one specific design choice this tool makes that most AI tools don't. Most AI chatbots answer you from memory. They were trained on data that might be a year old, 2 years old, and they'll answer confidently even when they're wrong because they have no way to check themselves. This tool works differently. Every time you ask it something, it actually goes out, searches the live web, reads multiple sources, and then writes you an answer with the sources attached. You can click every single claim and see exactly where it came from. That one difference, sourced, checkable, current answers, is what turns this from a toy into a research instrument. Before we get into it, if this is useful, tap like, drop a comment with the industry you want to research, and here's something worth knowing. I test new AI deals every week. If a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. Now let's build this properly. The tool is Perplexity, free to use, and honestly, the free version is enough for 90% of what I'm about to show you. The first thing almost everyone gets wrong is how they ask the question. They type something like, "Tell me about the coffee industry," and they get back a shallow, generic paragraph that reads like a Wikipedia summary. That's not the tool failing, that's a bad prompt producing a bad result, the same as it would with any AI. So let's fix that immediately with a real industry, live, right now. I'm going to research the electric vehicle charging industry because it's growing fast, it's messy, and it's a perfect example of an industry where the headlines lie to you. Instead of "tell me about EV charging," here's what an actual researcher types. Give me a breakdown of the EV charging industry in 2025 and 2026. Include current market size, projected growth rate through 2030, the top 5 companies by market share, and 2 major regulatory or policy changes affecting the industry this year. Cite your sources. Notice what changed. I gave it a time frame. I gave it specific categories I want filled in. I told it how many companies I want, and I asked for citations, even though it usually gives them anyway. Asking directly makes it more careful about backing up numbers instead of estimating them. When you run a prompt like that, you'll notice small numbered tags next to the sentences. Those are your sources. This is the step almost nobody does, and it's the one that separates someone doing real research from someone who's about to embarrass themselves in a meeting. Click on 2 or 3 of those sources. Check who published it. Check the date. A market size figure from a blog post written 18 months ago is not the same as a market size figure from an industry report published last quarter. The AI will happily hand you both if you don't push it. Your job is to notice the difference. Here's a mistake I want you to avoid because I've watched people make it over and over. They ask one broad question, get one broad answer, and stop. They treat this like a vending machine. Put in a question, get out a finished report. That's not how real research works, and it's not how this tool is meant to be used. The real power is in the follow-up. Once you have that first answer, you dig. You ask it to defend its own numbers. You ask it what it left out. You ask what a skeptic would say. So continuing with our EV charging example, after that first answer, I'd follow up something like, which of those 5 companies is actually losing market share right now and why? Then, what's the biggest operational problem charging network operators are dealing with that doesn't get talked about in the press? Each follow-up narrows the picture. By the 4th or 5th question, you're not reading a summary anymore. You're building an actual point of view on the industry, backed by sources you've personally verified. This is also where you catch the myths. Every fast-growing industry attracts hype, and people repeat that hype so often it starts sounding like fact. With EV charging, you'll constantly see claims that charging networks are already profitable and scaling smoothly. Ask Perplexity directly, is it true that most EV charging networks are profitable right now, and pull up the sourced answer. You'll usually find the opposite. Most networks are still burning cash, reliability numbers are inconsistent, and profitability is projected years out, not achieved today. That gap between what people repeat online and what the sourced data actually shows is exactly what you're hunting for. If an industry you're researching doesn't have that kind of noise around it, you won't find much to bust. And that's fine. Not every topic has a myth attached to it. But when it does, this is how you catch it instead of repeating it.
Now, here's a warning. And this is the part people skip because it feels like extra work. Perplexity is good, but it is not infallible. It occasionally misreads a source, occasionally pulls a number that's technically correct but out of context. For example, quoting a regional market size as if it were the global figure. This happens more often with newer or fast-moving topics where good data is scarce. The fix isn't complicated. When a number matters, when you're about to put it in a report or a pitch or a decision, open the actual source and confirm it says what the AI claims it says. Takes 30 seconds. Skipping that step is how people end up presenting confidently wrong numbers to a room full of people who then check for themselves. Let's go one level deeper. Because market size and competitors are just the surface. The real value in industry research is understanding direction, where things are headed, not just where they are. For this, change your prompt style again. Instead of asking for facts, ask for change over time. What has shifted in the EV charging industry in just the last 6 months? What were people confidently predicting a year ago that turned out to be wrong? That second question is the one that separates a beginner's research from an expert's. Anyone can find out what's true today. Finding out what smart people got wrong recently tells you where the uncertainty actually lives, and that's where the opportunity usually is, whether you're researching this for a business, an investment, or content. Now, for anyone doing this regularly, not just once, but tracking an industry over weeks or months, there's a feature worth knowing about called Spaces. Think of it as a dedicated folder for one ongoing research project. You can set custom instructions for that space, so every question you ask inside it automatically stays focused. For instance, telling it to always prioritize sources from the last 12 months, or to always break numbers down by region. You can also drop your own files into a space, a PDF report you already have, a spreadsheet, your notes, and it'll factor those in alongside its live web search. If you're building something like a quarterly industry report, this is where you do it instead of starting a fresh chat every time and losing all your context. One more technique, and this is the one that most people watching this have never tried: asking for the counter-argument on purpose. Once you've built a solid picture of an industry, ask this directly. Steelman the case that this industry is overhyped and will underperform expectations. Steelman means the strongest possible version of the opposing argument, not a weak one you can easily knock down. Why does this matter? Because left alone, you'll keep asking questions that confirm what you already believe. This one prompt forces the tool to actively work against your assumption, and it will pull real sources to do it. Analysts who were skeptical, past failures in adjacent markets, structural problems nobody's solved yet. Even if you disagree with the answer, you now know the strongest case against your position, which means you're prepared for it instead of being blindsided by it. Let's put the whole sequence together so you can see it as one flow, because that's really what this is, a sequence, not a single lucky prompt. Start broad but specific. Define the industry, the time frame, and exactly what categories you want: size, growth, players, regulation. Verify. Click the sources, check the dates. Don't build on a number you haven't confirmed. Narrow with follow-ups. Ask what's changing, what's underperforming, what the headlines are getting wrong. Hunt the myths. Ask directly whether the popular claims about this industry are actually true, and let the sources answer, not the internet's vibe. Then stress test yourself. Ask for the Steelman case against the industry, so your final picture isn't just optimistic noise. That's the difference between typing a question into a search bar and actually understanding an industry well enough to make a decision, write about it credibly, or explain it to someone else without hand-waving. One last thing before you go. This channel isn't about one tool or one trick. I'm actively testing new AI methods every week, and most of what works never makes it into a headline anywhere else. If there's a faster way to do what I just showed you, or a free method that replaces something people are paying for, this is where it shows up first, usually before anyone else is talking about it. If that's useful to you, subscribing means you won't be searching for it later. It'll already be here.